So, we're gonna actually do an intro.
Yes.
Curtains have opened.
Good morning, good evening, good
Good
noon.
afternoon. Good night. Bye. We are the Scarlet Tea.
Yes.
Ain't it cool? Our first official podcast, and we totally aren't not prepared for this crazy shiz. I'm totally not trying to dim down my swearing.
So she doesn't have to edit it later.
Yeah. It's just gonna be tea drinking, that's all it is. So, who are we? I am LT. Full name, LT Eccentrics. Because I'm badass like that.
I'm Scarlet, the other part of the Scarlet Tea. My hair is not red.
No, but mine is.
I cheated everyone with that name.
Oh, the irony.
It is not my real name, but I wish it was. So, yeah.
I mean, LT is my initials, so
Yeah.
it's as close as it gets.
Mm.
But yes, Scarlet or Scarlet Swan Hunter.
Mm.
She murders a lot of swans. We don't question it.
I'd be illegal and an outlaw in England.
She would, which is ironic considering you want to move here.
It is.
Hell knows why, but yeah. So what is the Scarlet Tea, Scarlet?
The Scarlet Tea is pretty much two idiot writers trying to make it in a writer world. And
doing
hopefully
anything
drink tea.
but writing.
Yeah, apparently.
The Scarlet Tea is the unified name that we came up with. Because it made sense, considering I get nicknamed T and you get called Scarlet.
Yeah. I also get called Scar.
You also get called Madman, Crazy Bitch, that one, She Who Must Not Be Named.
It makes sense that I have all the villains.
I wouldn't say that. I get called Ginger Ninja half the time. Yeah. And this is our first official podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Imagine that.
Why are we doing a podcast, you ask? Because why the flip not?
Because we have a lot of opinions that need to be shared.
Do they need to be?
Yes.
We just like talking, I suppose. We like having opinions.
We have opinions and we're hoping to entertain. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It is currently 1 a.m. for me, and
It's like 8 p.m. for me.
yeah, so it's a reasonable time for Scarlet and a ridiculous time for me. My housemates probably hate me. Well, we don't talk about that.
Can I explain why it's called Have a Cuppa and why there's a good chance people are hearing me stir my tea in the background?
You can.
Okay, so for all of my American and Canadian listeners, people in Britain say, "Do you want a cuppa?" whenever they're making anything, even if it's coffee or tea, and they just like telepathically through mind waves know what they want to drink. So that's why we're calling it Have a Cuppa. We're each drinking tea right now, right? And I have just this most amazing strawberry parfait from David's Tea, and it is delicious, and I love it so much. Cheers.
I'm drinking PG tips because that's all I drink. I don't even drink water. That's how bad it is. And yes, the cuppa thing, we're not telepathic. The question that follows after "do you want a cuppa" is tea or coffee. We don't just telepathically know.
What if someone just says milk?
Then we turn around and say, well, you know where the fridge is.
That's so mean.
That's how we work here. Many a time it'll be like, where you going? Because you'll see someone walk to the kitchen and be there like, oh, I'm just going to go make a cuppa. It's all like, oh, where's mine? It's all like, You know where the kettle is.
That's so...
Yep. Well, at least that's my siblings, so... and my dad. Actually, it's my entire family.
I'm starting to think your family is very mean.
They probably are, but we love each other, really.
Mm.
It's just how we show that we love each other. We just hate each other at the same time. Explains a lot when it comes to my characters, really, doesn't it? We show love through hate. Yeah, so with all of that introduction said, welcome to the podcast. Make yourself a cuppa, whichever you prefer.
It could be coffee, it could be milk, you psychopath. And
it could be hot chocolate. It could be just straight up vodka. We don't judge.
We just want you to have a cup with us and enjoy what we have to say, you know?
Yeah, just chill with us.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Grab a blanket. Are you sitting comfortably? Okay. Then let's begin. You know, every time I hear that, that sounds like they're about to murder you or something. Or torture you horrifically.
I mean, our novel isn't out yet, so we can't do that. But
That's gonna be how I, start every reading. Are you sitting comfortably? Then let the torture commence.
Oh, dude. Brilliant idea, though. When the book comes out, we can podcast the first chapter.
We can.
Can.
So look forward to that, I guess. Speaking of our novel and writing one, that brings us perfectly onto our first topic that we cleverly planned out, because we have our lives together. So yeah, writing a novel. That is our first decided topic. Pretty vague, pretty out there, but if you're listening to this, we can at least have some suspicion that you have at least contemplated writing your own novel.
Yeah.
At least fever dreamed it at one point, or thought about it while making a cup of tea at one point. It was like, I'm just gonna become a writer, and those people are always the ones that never become writers, because let's face it, if you're just it'll be easy, and just every writer ever is in the corner laughing, just crying at the same time.
You can't. I had a friend who had me ghostwrite for her, and she's like, oh, it'll be great. I'll just give you the ideas and you'll write them.
Why is that always the hilarious part? It's because clearly as a writer, what you need is ideas. The writing part's the easy bit. You're a writer, not an idea. And actually, it's the other way round. Just half the time it's the problem isn't I need an idea. The problem is I have too many ideas and I'm not writing.
That is the problem.
But yeah, so how does one write a novel?
Get an idea.
You have one. You write it. You
Get
lazy son of a gun.
Get an idea. Get characters that you're passionate about and make them your children.
Get them from the market. Go down to the local idea stall. I wish I could do that for a job.
Local idea store.
Someone comes around and goes, I need an idea. And they're like, on what? I want an idea for a story. Oh, this is the best one.
I don't have to write it even better.
Pay me 50p up front. So wow, that's cheap. And they're like, yeah, because you're never going to have the chance to write it. So making ideas is easy. Yeah,
depending on the type of writer you are, make an outline. We didn't do that.
We didn't do that until we'd finished the first draft.
And then we realized maybe we needed to do that.
Could have done with that. I mean, at first, knowing that you definitely want to write a novel for the right reasons is a good place to start.
Yeah,
Don't write a novel to be famous. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Write it because you enjoy writing, and it's a thing that like, everyone has different reasons to write, and some people are more profound than others. Mine is just, like, I really enjoy doing it. It's a fun hobby, and yeah.
Mine is I have a god complex.
How
I
profound.
can control and manipulate this world of mine. I can't do that with my actual one.
You can do that with Sims.
That is true, which explains why I'm a simaholic as well. So. But yeah, definitely don't start it because you want to be famous or you want everyone to read it, because let's face it, the chances of that are slim.
Yeah, hell, even fanfiction writers, like like, I know a few fanfiction writers, and they're like, I want to write it because A, I want to see my ship get together, and B, because smut.
Gives me an excuse to write porn. Basically it.
Dude, not even a joke. One of my friends, we were like 16 or something, and she's like, can you imagine in 2 years I'll be able to write smut and not be judged?
Mate, you will always be judged. You could be 50 and writing that stuff. We'll still judge you for it.
Us reviewing 50 Shades of Grey is the next topic. No.
Haven't even read it.
I
tell you what, though, I had one guy introduce himself when I mentioned that I liked writing and reading. He said the only book I've ever read is 50 Shades of Grey. And my only look was kind of like, how do I continue this conversation? I don't understand. Is that how you learnt to read? Is that what you're saying? If so, that explains a lot, actually.
But no, yeah, and then after you finish the first draft, the one thing I know for the first draft that, like, people love to brag about and is completely true, and I stand by that, is do not edit. Just keep writing and don't look back.
I swear I had to tell you that at one point.
You might have.
I think, like, while we were going through the process, so the Scarlet team, me and Scarlet, are writing a novel. We're writing Super Secret.
Yes.
Which we decided to create because A, we like writing, B, we like torturing ourselves, and C, we both were in an RP that was Super Secret, and we decided, why just have this as a thing for us? Why not turn it into a book that we can then share? And
quarantine happened, we got bored, and we decided, why not share this lovely experience? The characters are lovely. So.
We got bored, and it was nearing summer. I needed a goddamn project. Yeah. Otherwise, I was going to go on a murdering spree.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, in our process, while we were writing the first draft, I remember every time we'd stop and you'd kind of want to go back and read it, and I'd just constantly be there going like, no, we must keep going.
See, listen.
Don't look back.
Listen, the only time I remember really wanting to go back and read it was the, like, little cute moments between the ships. I'm like, I really want to go back and
when
read
you want to
that.
go back and just remind yourself you're not that bad of a writer.
Remind yourself
that was a relatively good moment. Let's go back to that. Yeah, no, it's definitely, you shouldn't look at the editing side of things. The first draft is just...
The first draft is going to be awful.
Yes, that is the other quote I was going to go for. There's two quotes to live by when writing a novel. The first one is... what was he called? I can't remember what the author was, but he's one of the great ones, and I feel terrible for forgetting his name. But let's face it, you remember the quote, not the name. But it was, the first draft is always shit. Always. There is no... a brilliant writer will always write a shit first draft. And the other quote was Neil Gaiman, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is,
what I'm
the
thinking of.
first draft is you telling yourself the story.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true, because that's basically what it was. It's
was
like
us
watching
telling
the film for the first time. And
For
then
the first
editing
time.
is going back and going, what the heck happened? But yeah, no, so definitely go into it because you like the craft, you like telling
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
And the other thing to remember is to write the story you want to read. Don't write trying to appease a crowd, because you
'cause
will
it will
just struggle.
yes, it will never work. Um, the other thing while we're on like crowds is don't exclude a crowd.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, I'm I remember seeing a video or something where someone said, yes, just because you aren't a certain race or you haven't gone through a certain experience, that doesn't mean you can't write people of that certain race. Like, as long as you don't portray, like, what it is like to be that race, or what it is like to, if you're a man and you're talking about what it's like to be a woman and you have no idea and you haven't done that much research,
Yeah.
you can still write a female character, just give her some other issues that relate to you personally.
Yeah, don't try and write something you don't understand.
Yeah.
It tends to be good if you have experience. If
Mm.
you Obviously, if you're a guy, you're never going to experience what it's like to be a girl.
Yeah.
But you can still talk to women. Funnily enough, we can speak. We have a voice. We like to make that known very often. But yeah, no. I wouldn't see it as like excluding crowds. Just it's along the lines of write what you know.
Yeah.
Which people tend to misinterpret as like only write what you know, but obviously the
Yes.
whole point of writing is to experience something new.
Yes.
So it's more write what you understand, and if you want to write it but don't understand it, research it.
Yeah.
Do a
Thoroughly
lot of
research it.
research.
Yeah, don't just read the Wikipedia article, just like skim it and then like, yeah, I'm an expert. I know what I'm talking about.
Apparently women are very scared to walk down streets. That must be every single street they've ever walked down. I think girls are scared of streets. It's probably the pavements. You could trip. It's terrifying.
It's the heels. It's the heels.
And of course, all women wear heels. Unless they're drunk, in which they turn into a deer, in like a newborn deer in the middle of a fucking.
Oh, the amount of times I've heard
storm.
that line. The amount of times I've read that line and just like, oh, Jesus.
What, walking like a newborn deer?
Yeah. In like heels or whatever.
So yeah, write what you understand.
Mm.
Or want to understand, and if you want to understand it, then by the end or the start even of the book, you should understand what you're writing about.
Yeah. I know me personally, when writing one of the characters, especially the ones with mental illness and stuff like that, like I'm allowed to say who, right? That isn't a spoiler.
I don't think so.
Right. So writing Ginny with the anxiety thing, I pretty much went on an entire searching dynamics and things like that of anxiety, just to like get a line that she says right.
I mean, at the same time, I swear you have anxiety of some measure, so.
I don't think it's that big, but yeah.
I think the other one that I definitely appreciate is, I'm not sure if it's a solid fact yet, but one of the characters that you write in the book, Raphael, he potentially has ADHD, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Which I've started realising I could potentially have mildly, which is hilarious. But I like that is actually potentially included in the story.
Yeah.
Like, it shows that it's not that like we're just doing it for the sake of all of these different kinds of variations of things. Like, you know,
No,
how
it just
people
occurred
just
at the
throw
end
in
of the
like
draft.
someone who's weird or wacky or something just for the sake of having like inclusion and stuff.
Diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more the fact that it makes sense to his character. Like, it was the fact that when we were looking at him, a lot of the things he was doing and the way he was acting actually looked a lot like those symptoms, and we were there like, well, you might as well go headstrong with it. So again, we're not sure if it's going to wind up being an actual fact in the end product, but it is something that we're looking at. And if we do it, then it would be something that we want to research fully before going in. But I do know that we do have quite a few takes on it, because we have some characters that suffer from different disorders. I know one of my main ones suffers from depression, but that's because I personally suffer from depression, and having that character explore it and understand it also works with me. It's kind of like a mirror, so. But yeah. So, writing's definitely a good way to gain an understanding of certain things. It's like walking in another person's shoes, so.
It really gives you perspective.
It should be hard to be a writer and be closed-minded, because the whole point is opening your mind to different opinions. Yeah. But you'd be surprised at how close-minded certain writers can be.
Right, I gotta talk about that. Where this is the first episode. We don't got.
JK.
Nah, she'll come after us. We don't need that. We basically
first podcast. We're already starting shit.
We basically wrote Hogwarts in the future. We're not. Shh. We don't need to get sued.
Futuristic Hogwarts. It really isn't, because ours is way better.
Fact.
And just wait for the mob of Harry Potter fans to come and burn down our door. And live for chaos.
I need that in the new year, having just Harry Potter fans, Tom Hiddleston fans, just like, what the hell do you mean?
Tom Hiddleston's coming to my door. I am not complaining. Could you just imagine that? Someone in a huge mob, and like one of them's a celebrity, the person who's getting attacked is just that, like, okay, I understand you're angry, but can I have a selfie? Can I have an autograph? My brother would never believe this.
What to avoid?
That came so left field. As like, me? I don't know. Tom Hiddleston when he's angry.
What to avoid in like the writing
process? Riots?
Yes.
What to avoid when it comes to writing a novel? Avoid worrying too much if your book is going to be any good.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, the writing industry is an industry built on opinions. Everyone's gonna have a different way of seeing it. Some people are definitely gonna hate it. Some people are definitely gonna love it. It entirely depends. So, yes, everyone wants their book to be hugely successful. Yes, we all have the dreams of hordes of fans going, oh, your book changed my life, and TV series coming down and going, oh, we want to make it into a TV series, and all of these famous celebrities, and then you get a ton of money and you just sit on a yacht in the middle of nowhere. Everyone dreams of that, but the truth is, it's not nearly that glamorous. It's like a 1 in a million type situation. If you think about it, there's obviously like 7 billion of us. A certain amount of us want to be writers. There are hundreds of thousands of books out there. The chances that your one book will do huge success is like winning the lottery.
Yeah.
Which is surprisingly what you get back, a ton of money if it does. So definitely don't write the book expecting everyone to fall in love with it or wanting everyone to fall in love with it.
Mm.
Just love it yourself. And that's like a life lesson in itself. It's the same kind of thing. If you love your book, then that's all that matters. If you love yourself, that's all that matters.
Beautiful lesson,
And that has
Alti.
been my TED Talk. Thank you very much.
Beautiful lesson. I love it. Amazing.
Yeah. I know, right?
Mm.
The other thing to avoid, spelling mistakes.
Thing to avoid.
Not quite as emotional, but definitely something to watch out for.
A thing to avoid, the difference between scuff and scoffed. From personal experience, there is a difference.
Think and thing is my one.
Figure out which two words you mix up constantly and hopefully avoid them.
Always check them. Always. Double check the same way that you would a game that auto-saves.
But, like, yeah, that's as much as we can talk about writing a novel for now, because we're on the thirdest draft.
Yes.
So...
We haven't actually finished. Well, we've written a novel.
Yeah,
we've
written a novel.
We've written the
Yeah.
first draft. And we're planning on publishing it April.
Yes. So a year after we started.
We say publish in a light term because we're not actually sending it to any publishers or getting it as an ebook necessarily. We're just throwing it online. So, being there going, you wanted a story, here you go. Because I know book one's definitely going to be free because we're nice like that.
Yeah.
We prefer it if you bought it. I know that we're definitely going to look at getting
Yeah.
it as like an ebook or something. But at the same time, you don't have to. We'd appreciate it, but you don't have to.
No. We're gonna torture you for free. The next few books, you can pay to get tortured.
you gotta pay for that session. Oh, it's brilliant.
But yeah, no, after you finish the first draft, the rest of the process is just slugging through editing until you look like you knew what you were doing all along, and publishing it,
and then leaving your cave, pretending that you didn't spend the last few months crying, tell your friends you're still alive, and try and reintroduce yourself into society.
What's society? I thought that burned down years ago.
It's still burning. That's why we don't look back when we're writing. But yeah, and then eventually, like, if you just keep at it, eventually you'll have written a book.
Yeah.
And I mean, the editing stage is entirely optional. It'll be shit, but, you know, you can skip it if you really want.
Yeah, no, a lot of people do, and...
That's why there are some absolutely terrible stories out there. But yeah, no. When it comes to writing a novel, just write it. Is the best advice anyone can give you. Just sit down and do it.
Yeah.
And some moments you'll feel like an absolutely terrible writer. It's probably right. Some moments you'll feel like a brilliant writer. That's also probably right. At the end of the day, we're all kind of all over the place. We're like a penny.
Yeah.
You gotta flip it, and sometimes it lands good and sometimes it doesn't.
On that, two things I want to add is, first of all...
you owe me money.
No. First of all, when you think that you're a terrible writer, just go to sleep. Because that tends to be what it is with us.
Yeah.
And second thing,
Was the second thing actually I owe you
it just-
money? Or?
no, I just blanked on it. I just had it. Oh my god, I just had it. I lost it. Never mind. Cheers.
Yeah, you said two things now. We gotta have a second thing.
I genuinely just... What did you just say? Can I play that back?
It was along the lines of sometimes you'll be a good writer, sometimes you'll be a bad one. If you think you're a bad one, you said go to sleep, which I agree with fully. That tends to be the reason why you think you're a bad one.
I got it.
Mm.
If you're reading, like, if obviously one of the pieces of advice that I see everywhere is like read a lot when you're a writer so you can see how other people are doing it and like learn from them. But do not compare yourself to them. Learn from them, but don't be like, wow, I can never reach that. Because you're a different person, your writing style could be different. Don't try to copy them, don't try to be like them. You're a different person. Obviously, learn how they do it, and like you can add it to your own writing, but don't be like, wow, now my writing's awful. Why am I even trying?
Yeah. No, definitely. Because I've been reading a lot of classics lately, and that kind of moments you get where it's like, oh, I wish I could write like this. I wish I could be like this person. Be the writer you want to be.
Yeah.
Not another writer.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Be you as a writer.
Yeah.
Pretend you're a famous author and do it. Pretend you're a famous director and do it, because that's what we do.
Pretend you know what you're doing.
Fake it till you make it.
Because let's face it, something tells me if you ever speak to an author, they probably have no fucking clue what they're doing either. So.
Probably.
Don't think anyone does.
You can't tell me you can't tell me E.L. James was like, I totally know what's going on. Totally.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely agree. Don't compare yourself, because you will never be like that writer, because they are unique to them. Much as you are unique to you.
Yeah. You
can be loved just as much as that writer, but you will never be like them. So be like you in the best way. Yeah.
Right. Now,
okay.
Game time.
Yeah. Next segment. Woo!
You're going to have to introduce this one, because I don't know how.
I introduced the last one.
I'll introduce
I'm just becoming the introducing person. Yeah, so 2 seconds while I catch my nose. I got a dribbling nose. Alright. I'm getting so worked up. It's so beautiful. Yeah, so game time. In every podcast we're gonna have a bit of fun, you know. Play a writing game of some kind. And the one we've chosen today is pretty straightforward. We have called it One Line at a Time. Sheerly because I didn't know what the actual game was called. But essentially it's a story where you come up with it one line at a time and you take it in turns. And me and Scarlett are going to play with each other. You guys are welcome to join in at home, but obviously we can't hear you. So. And unfortunately, despite what Scarlett said at the start of this, us British people are not telepathic. We certainly can't see into the future.
If we ever go live, we will play this game, but as of right now, we are doing it amongst ourselves.
Yeah. So you'll just have to stay tuned, and you know, one day we might do it live. Who knows? We might dare to do that.
Oh, did we tell them where the podcast is going to go up the first of every single month at the start?
We didn't tell them in the podcast.
Well,
but
now
we told them literally everywhere else.
We're telling them now. Choose this first.
If you guys have not found out where to find this podcast, one, how did you get it? And number 2, come back again every start of the month. There'll be more. Yeah, no, so it'll go up on Spotify, YouTube, and our website. I don't know how it'll go on our website just yet, but we'll work it out.
We'll figure it out. I don't know how it's going to go up on Spotify either, but we'll figure it out.
We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, so we're going to play this game?
Yeah, how are we getting
creative juices going?
Yeah, how are we setting a timer for the game? Or are we just
no, we just keep going until we stop. Unless you want to. Do you want to set a timer?
I feel like knowing us, it will go on, and we'll be like, maybe we should make this into a novel.
We've written another book.
Maybe we should make this. So, how long do you want me to set the timer
That
for?
is how we came up with Super Secret.
It is.
I don't know. Do you want to say a minute?
A minute?
Actually, that might be too speed
15?
15? Woman! We got other stuff to talk about.
Okay. How long? 5.
5.
10.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay, 5. Alright, 5 minutes.
If we want to do another one, then we can do another one.
Alright.
Okay. Who's gonna go first? Do you rock, paper, scissors?
No, please don't make me do this. Yeah.
1, 2.
What? You go on 3, you weirdo.
Yes,
You
you go
tell
on
me
3.
that.
What the heck?
You didn't tell me that.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. What was that?
Paper. It's paper.
Okay, right. That wasn't paper. That was a flippin' slap.
Yeah, I slap you, I win, you do it.
Okay, well, no, if you win, you've got to start the first line.
Oh, I don't want to win then! Please!
Well, you got incentive to lose then, haven't you? Either way, it's still rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors.
I didn't win.
1. You won. I
didn't win.
I could see the 2 fingers.
I didn't.
I saw the scissors.
Okay,
Nice
fine.
try, Vish.
Fine. I'm gonna start it in the most cliche type of way because it's the only thing coming to mind. Once upon a
Alright.
time, in a far-off land, far, far away, there lived a dragon.
Is that full stop?
Yes.
The dragon, whom was called Desmond, lived with his great aunt Beatrice, who happened to be a sheep.
Beatrice.
Full stop.
Beatrice made beautiful tapestries. One day, the dragon brought home his girlfriend, a very lovely female dragon.
We don't want interspecies going on.
Exactly. We're not furries. And he was like, I'm going to make you the most beautiful dress. So he went to his Aunt Beatrice. I think she was an aunt, I don't remember. Full stop.
Yes. I think it was great Aunt Beatrice. Yes, so he went to his great Aunt Beatrice. And he went, Great Aunt Beatrice, thy be a goat. I understand you make the most beautiful tapestries. I command ye to make my gorgeous concubine a dress beyond her wildest dreams. And his goat aunt looked at him with very confused eyes and says, What part of tapestry sounds like dress to you? It's a completely different process.
And then there was a large crash and bang. A bull had gone through one of the tapestries, and the dragon was like, oh my god, it's perfect. You're a wizard, Aunt Beatrice. I love it.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Full stop.
So the bull came charging in. And Aunt Beatrice looked down at her tiny hoof hands and went, a wizard? But Desmond, I'm just a goat aunt.
Is that a full stop?
Yeah.
And Desmond turned around and went, no. No. That is not what you are. You are destined to have a great adventure. Now go and save the princess from our weird cousin. From my weird cousin, let's be fair. Full stop.
He's a distant cousin-in-law. We don't talk about it.
Full stop.
He has
You're
this crazy fetish with crowns. So, our wonderful... I've forgotten what she was called. Was it Gertrude? Or was it Beatrice?
Our lovely goat.
The goat. So our lovely goat aunt, whom has had sudden amnesia, probably from being knocked over by the bull that just charged through half of her house, has set forth, believing herself to be a wizard. Which makes no sense. Because, to be honest, she never summoned the bull. She had nothing to do with the bull. It just charged into her house. And she just went, "Welp, I've got nothing else planned this Saturday." It was a Saturday, by the way. So she went off, trotting off to achieve her destiny. Now she had heard of her great nephew's weird...
That makes sense, sure.
Yeah.
It's a weird family tree. It's like a bush.
She'd actually adopted him. She didn't know anything about the dragon family. She just kind of went with it. It's how she got through most of her life. Just kind of rolled with it. But she had heard of this crazy cousin dragon. She heard that he liked to kidnap princes and princesses. He was bisexual. And he liked to have long, inspiring conversations with them before eating their brains. He had a weird thing with zombies as well. We don't go into that. So she knew exactly how she was going to confront him. Full stop.
Full stop.
Sucker.
And that is...
That was the cliffhanger ending.
Cliffhanger ending.
Will Beatrice, or Gertrude, or whatever the heck she was called, goat aunt, managed to stop the cousin from inspiring and then murdering the princess? I don't know.
Join us next session to figure it out, because we're not telling you.
Join us next session where we'll play a completely different game and completely forget about this one. AKA, you'll never know. That was fun.
No. We definitely did more than a line, but...
Yeah, we wound up. It was gonna happen.
Mm.
We need to title it.
Oh.
Give it a title. Desmond's Great Wizardy Goat Aunt.
Yes. Beautiful.
Boom. Where's my royalties?
Well, technically they're trapped with a weird cousin right now.
The princess has to be again. I want to know how... I don't know where the brains bit came from. I was thinking head, but I couldn't think head. I was just like, ate the brains. He was a zombie dragon. But yeah, that was one line at a time. Which I actually quite like the name of. I don't know if it had an actual name to the game. I don't care. That's what we're calling it. Try and stop me. Moving on to our next topic. Would you like to...
Writing news, where we talk about all things related to writing that has happened recently.
We need like a cool news intro, like a...
And on tonight's broadcast, pigeons are still being extinct. Where do they come from? I don't know. They just appear. There is a good chance that they are aliens.
Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah, no, we have 3 topics for today's news. The first one being the crossover between the School for Good and Evil and the Red Queen.
Yes.
Mm.
That little ditty.
I personally have only read the Red Queen. I've read 2 of the books in the series. I've never even Like, I've
You
heard
read
of
the second one? Dang,
Yeah,
that's dedication.
I read the second one. I have never touched The School of Good and Evil. Like, I've had friends that read it and said it was really good, but for some
You're
reason
missing
I've
out.
read it. Yeah.
Good series. Yeah, this was mostly one that I put down because, man, do I have some opinions. For those of you who don't know, I have had the honor of reading both of them. I read The School for Good and Evil. I read the first three, and that was when the third one was pretty new. I have yet to read the next few that have come out. I have been meaning to, but I have not been reading. But I have also had the not quite so honor, so sue me, of reading Red Queen. Now, there are definitely going to be people out there who, as soon as they hear that I don't like Red Queen, will try and come for my throat. By all means, try and get.
It's really a mixed bag. It's like Throne of Glass. You either love it or hate it. I've never seen anyone in between.
Yeah, no, I definitely lie on the hatred. I'm sorry to the wonderful author who wrote it. I'm sure she's an absolute.
I watched something with her because I follow her on Instagram. She did like a tour of her workspace. What are those called? The offices. Yeah, she did a thing for her office. She's
Yes. For those who don't know, the author of Red Queen is Victoria Aveyard. Did I just Google that? Yes.
That's why I kept rambling.
And again, while I believe she is an absolutely lovely person, and I have no doubt that when it comes to her writing, she is more than dedicated to her work, I personally hated it. The reasons, if I am to go into it, is because when I read it, there was a lot that should have been explained and gone into that sounded really interesting. That was pretty much skipped. And everything else that was kind of boring sideline stuff got dragged out to hell.
And mind you, she is a person who enjoys romance.
Especially with the romance. I am a sucker for rom-coms and that kind of choose between such and such and this. Call me stereotypical, but I do love those kinds of stories because it's always hilarious for me. But the one that was in Red Queen just did not inspire me at all. It was very obvious what was going on, and yeah. It's definitely a love or hate situation. If you love it, then good for you. Yeah, I won't judge you for that, but at the same time, I did not. However, The School for Good of Evil, I did absolutely adore. It was a great book. It was written by, I'm gonna botch his name with no doubt, Soman Chainani, I believe it is. But his book's absolutely amazing. The concept of two different schools that teach fairy tale characters, children, or thereabouts, the kind of like how to be a fairy tale kid was intriguing. The world was well built. It was very much a teenage to tween kind of audience, but I read it slightly later on, kind of like when I was a young adult, and I still enjoyed it. But again, it is more for like the younger years. But it is still definitely a good read. So when it comes to me hearing about this crossover between what is essentially one of my favourite books and one of my least favourite books, there are definitely some reservations. I know that it's only a visual novel, I believe.
Yeah. It's a comic.
Yeah. And maybe the story transfers better to a comic. I don't know. I just know that it's weird that like one author that I definitely respect,
Yeah.
and one that while I respect the author, I don't
Respect the work.
particularly respect the book. It's definitely worrisome, but at the same time, I know I'm not gonna read it. So I said worrisome. It's not really a worry. I'm not worried about it. It's just more I know I won't personally read it.
Yeah.
I won't look into it. I know that a lot of people share my thoughts as well. I saw quite a few of them on Instagram. And yeah, it's just gonna be one of those. But definitely, if you haven't read School for Good and Evil, go read it. If you haven't read Red Queen, feel free to pick it up. I haven't suggested it, but if you want to, I'm not going to stop you.
Personally, the only visual novels I read is manga and superhero comics, so I probably won't either.
Nice. I think I read the Has-Been Hotel one. That was quite cool, to be honest. My shirt should be coming, the Has-Been Hotel one. I got the Alistair one. Who doesn't love an Alistair? I have a cousin Alistair, by the way.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we think he's gay.
I can't tell if you did that
Random
as a joke or you genuinely serious.
Who knows? Yeah. But no, so it's... Yeah, I know I'm not going to read it. But yeah, it's entirely up to anyone else.
Yeah.
Entirely their choice.
Would I recommend it? It's a light read, personally.
What? Red Queen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to read.
It's not anything difficult. Like, if you want something, like, quick and easy, you can read in, like, a week. I don't know. I'm a slow reader. My friend...
Which says something, really. She's a slow but persistent reader, is what she is.
I will finish that series, goddammit. No. On that, though, I've started reading, like, only standalones because I cannot put my commitment into a series. That's too much commitment at this point.
See, I'm different, because if I get committed to a book that I really like, there needs to be more.
I don't know. I find that a lot of the books that I get into, like, the love interest is great, and then in the second book, they're just gone, and I'm like, well, but I liked him!
See, mine's always the other way, is that they always go for the other person, and they're like, why, though? Yeah, anyway, moving on to the next one.
The Percy Jackson TV show.
Yeah.
Listen.
Fun fact, linking the two together, actually, The School for Good and Evil is having a TV show as well. I believe it's on Netflix.
Oh, that's not... Yeah, no, I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of it, though, so I'm not going to go into that. We'll go into it when I've seen more of it.
The Percy Jackson TV show, all I know from it so far, there might be more information, but I wouldn't know it, is it's coming out on Disney Plus, and Rick Riordan is working with the author of the book, Rick Riordan, is working with the writing team and is part of like the writing process through video chats or something along those lines to make sure that it actually turns out well and not like the Percy Jackson movies. So
it's one of those where I saw the film first and then read the books. So I actually enjoyed the films. I thought they were quite cool. But comparing them to the books, I can understand why there was an outcry. The books are definitely better.
Yeah. I read the books. They were like the first novel that I read outside of being in ESL, I guess.
I was going to say, how old were you when you wrote it?
I was like 11, somewhere there. And that's when I read the first book, and then I like finished the entire series while being in like the 6th grade, just like all of it. And I freaking loved it. I think when the series ended, I just cried because it was over. I'm like, why is it over? And I even went to watch the musical when it came to, Canada.
Did you actually get to see it?
Yeah, no, me and my sister and my friend that all like got me into the series, we all went and saw it.
Nice.
Yeah. Honestly, some of the music wasn't that bad. Funny enough, I think
I haven't had much thoughts on the musical because I'm a musical buff. My thoughts of what was a great book series, botched film turned to a musical just made me go, not sure how I feel. But again, I wasn't, so I read it somewhat recently.
Yeah.
And I'm young adult, so it's not aimed at me, and I could definitely see that. But at the same time, it is still a really fun read.
It is.
It's not aimed at my age at all, so it's very easy to run through, and it was very quick for me to get through.
Yeah.
But the way that Riordan gets the characters across, and the fact that he put research into the characters, I believe he taught it, didn't he? He taught.
Yeah, he
like
taught mythology.
So it definitely shows, and the creative way that he showed how they've adapted to the modern world as well. It's a great series. If there is someone out there who hasn't read it,
recommend
read it.
But it's a good series.
It doesn't matter how old you are, it is still fun to read.
Just the main character is extremely fun.
They're relatable as well.
Yeah.
They're not they're actual kids.
I think that's why a lot of my characters are the way that they are now. It's honestly probably influenced something. But yeah, no, it was the first book that like got me into Greek mythology and stuff like that, and now he has like a series where it's like the main character Percy Jackson explaining Greek mythology. Amazing stuff.
I saw that. I got that for my nephew at one point because I heard that he was reading the Percy Jackson series, and I got him that.
I read both of those. They were brilliant. I loved them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever actually read it in the end because I've got the Stephen Fry book. Mythos, I believe it is. I still need to read it. I've had it for ages. I just need to read it.
But yeah,
it's in my long book collection of things I still need to read. But yeah, the TV series.
The TV series, I have high hopes for it. The fact that he's actually in the room where it's being made, I have high hopes.
Hopefully they give him enough creative freedom with it.
To do what he,
to be there like, okay, we need to do this.
So I have very high hopes. Hopefully they don't get crushed.
Yeah. I do wonder how they're going to do the casting, because I know with the film, they really upped the ages.
That's true,
in the film, I can't remember how old they were supposed to be.
In the film, they were like 16.
Yeah, but at the same time, the actors did not look 16. But in the books, they're 12, isn't it? Yeah. Hopefully they do stick more towards that.
Yeah. I know.
Not that I have anything against the original actors,
cast.
Actually,
they're great. I know people are saying that they want the original person who played Percy Jackson in the movies, Logan Lerman. They want him to play Poseidon in the new version because he just looks like Poseidon. He has like a beard. Cool. Yeah, he has like a beard and his hair is like this black. He looks like it. It's so weird.
Well, that would be actually a really clever way of because he is a good actor. What I see a lot of people saying are actually like they didn't hate him. It was good acting, bad writing.
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
I know that he definitely had a look for it, so I can definitely see that.
Also, terrible direction.
But yeah, hopefully it does live up more to it. I am keen to see what the cast will look like. When they release that, hopefully we can have more insight into it. But Yeah. So fingers crossed is essentially what we're going for. That they do it right this time.
I want a good series, please.
Do it justice. If you're gonna bring it back, do it justice.
The musical did it so much justice that I still listen to this soundtrack, and even one of the songs is in Raph's playlist on Spotify. So
yeah.
please.
And isn't it Riordan did a lot with the musical, and the fact that he's writing with the TV series should.
I don't know that. Maybe.
I believe he did. I think he has a lot of creative. I might be wrong, but I believe he had creative reins of some kind over the musical, which is why the musical did it justice. So the fact that he's helping with the TV series should definitely.
Yeah.
Again, fingers crossed. But then it's Disney Plus. So. You win some, you lose some. That's all I'm gonna say.
Move on.
Haven't seen
what the
that
fuck?
one.
$30.
But yeah, so fingers crossed, and we'll try and keep ourselves updated on that for the next podcast, hopefully.
Yeah. How COVID has affected the writing world
is our next point, as we have beautifully segued into it.
Segue. Totally wasn't like
harsh segue.
A boom.
Pretty much run into your grandma segue.
Run into your teacher in the middle of smoking a cigarette. You shouldn't be doing that.
It's a weird. That was a weird segue in itself. That was a segue. That was. But anyway, yeah. COVID and all of that beauty.
We are not going to touch the
COVID.
We're not going to touch COVID. We're not going to touch the politics that happened with COVID.
Oh. That
is an entire mess in itself. If you don't know about it, I'm sure there are other podcasts you can listen to after this one, obviously.
Afterwards.
We are also not going to touch about what happened with J.K. Rowling. We're not going to talk about that controversy.
Not with COVID, but the other thing. Unless there's been another controversy with COVID that I haven't heard of.
There might be. I don't know.
She turned around and gone, it's not a real disease.
But yeah, no, other than, like, I know from a lot of memes online and things like that, that COVID has been great for writers and awful for writers.
It's definitely given you time to do stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not an essential carer. If you are, it's given you no time. It's definitely inspired a lot of writers as well.
Yeah.
With how it's definitely strange, because one of the things I heard someone else say, I think it was on the news or something, was like, we are living in history right now.
Yeah.
Because this will be remembered in history.
Oh, yeah.
It's a world pandemic. And it's definitely strange to see something that you think you'd only see, like, for example, war is only ever really shown on the media. You never see it firsthand.
Yeah.
And something like this, you often see on the media again. You see all of the chaos going on and things trying to fix it, but you never really see it firsthand. But this time, like, seeing the shops and half of the aisles, like, nearly empty at the start of the year, and everyone wearing masks when before, like, wearing a mask in public would be like a security thing. It's surreal in a way. I still remember walking to work at one point and feeling like I had to, like, hide any sort of cough that I might have had. Like, just clearing my throat. I couldn't do it because someone might come after me. Whisk me away to some hospital or something. But yeah, it's been surreal, and while it has calmed down now, it's definitely been an experience.
Well, on the topic of that, I'm excited for people to read in their textbooks that people panicked and went and bought just tons of toilet paper. I hope that it makes it into the books.
What I find hilarious is that wasn't even one of the things that was going to run out first. That's just the thing that everyone went for. Which just meant that there was then a shortage of toilet paper. So it was just stupid in the end. But yeah, no. Again, I think that was the most surreal situation. Is definitely going through the shops and just half of the aisles being completely empty.
Yeah.
Because this is the one thing that annoyed me as well. It's not just families and stuff. Like, there's people living by themselves that need to buy food for themselves, and if they can't, they go hungry.
Yeah.
They wipe their ass with whatever they got. So the fact that some people just went into the whole panic buying thing, it's just... It says a lot about some people in society. But
Yeah.
anyway, that has mostly gone into the past now.
Yeah.
So,
Currently, what I've seen is a lot more people taking up new hobbies, and a lot of those people taking up new hobbies will find writing as one of the hobbies, surprisingly. Yeah, so that's...
Everyone going, I need to write that book now, because
yeah.
I have time, and then realising how difficult it is.
Or just scrolling through Facebook and being like, well, I have time. Do you, though?
Ah, yes, the rabbit hole that is the internet.
That's never gonna
Every
go away.
writer's biggest chain.
Even if you have all that writing, it's just proof that if you don't sit down to write it and get committed to writing it, you're not gonna do it. Even if you have like an infinite amount of time.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, it's definitely it's affected everything. And it definitely has affected the creative industry, as well as the writing one.
Yeah.
But it's been somewhat good for the writing one, because if you think about it, more people have taken up reading, more people have taken up writing.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, look at us. We did it.
Yeah, we did it more because we were bored. But that wasn't necessarily COVID-induced. It was just because we were there like, hey, you know what we can do? What were the negatives people were complaining about with the writing one?
Not getting paid. Because I know a lot of writers have, like, additional jobs. And if you stop your additional job...
yeah.
Then that, that gets, not good. But, other than that, there's no negatives I could think of. It was just, like, normal people negatives, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that has affected a lot of people.
Yeah, I know it definitely has affected student writers like myself.
Yes, definitely.
Where, like, it's great having school online. Like, don't get me wrong, I can just wake up, go to class, and then go back to sleep. That's great. I don't have to go outside in the freezing rain, cold. There are positives. But at the same time, there's, for some reason, even more work than there usually would be. So it's like now I have to do the Instagram, edit, and do my schoolwork, and somehow get 8 hours of sleep if I even can. So it's one of those.
It becomes hectic.
It really does. So for a lot of the student writers, my my prayers goes out to you. I hope you did well on finals week. Because I just finished mine in the time that we're recording this. So
fingers crossed for you guys.
Yeah.
We raise our mugs of tea.
I have no more tea left, but cheers.
Cheers to you. Yeah, I don't either, but
Cheers.
we're raising our mugs, our empty mugs. Cheers. And we're gonna pretend to drink.
No, I'm gonna get this last drop as it's the last thing I do.
I know, I was just about to do that as well.
I didn't get it.
It's the fact that we raise empty mugs, but we both try and drink the last dribble. Like, I will get something out of it, god dang it. But yes, to all of the students out there,
To
we hope
all
your
of
finals
the-
did well.
Yeah, and to
And
all
even
of
if
the
you
helpful-
didn't, it's not the end of the world, you know.
No. You'll get there. You'll do something. We believe in you.
Yeah, we believe in you. And that is something I've learnt from dealing with Scarlet most of the time. It's just hearing those words. We believe in you. We mean it. We believe in you. It means a lot. We don't talk about the time where I was a huge pessimist and her strange optimism has somehow infected me.
We're also not going to talk about the fact that two of the characters that are based off of each other are,
shipped. I mean, we're both technically in relationships. You definitely are. We don't talk about mine. I have no idea what's going on in my life.
My significant other will never find this podcast as long as I live.
Really?
Yes.
You know that's a lie.
It's
I'll send it to him.
No, you won't. No, you goddamn will not.
I'm gonna be proud of it. This is cool of us.
I am proud of it, but like, it's the fact of it's our first take, it's our first run. I'm awkward, you're a little awkward, we're getting into it.
How dare you?
And he's gonna bully me for it. I don't want to be bullied.
Oh, he's gonna bully you no matter how well you do. That's how relationships work.
Sadly, she's right.
That's the whole point of having a relationship. You get to bully someone for fun. For anyone out there in a not so fun relationship who is getting bullied without the fun, that's not good.
Ooh.
Get out of it.
No. Yes.
But anyway.
Another cheers to the healthcare workers that are still working throughout this goddamn pandemic.
Definitely.
Healthcare workers, just anyone working. I don't know who else, like
I'm
store
working,
owners.
But
Yeah, you're working.
I was
store
until I
owners,
got put on lockdown
quarantine.
in my own house. Yes, that.
But cheers to that.
Yeah. Cheers to all of you.
If you're working right now listening to this podcast, cheers to you.
Yeah. Thank you as well.
Yeah.
For listening to it. Just thank everyone here. Everyone here right now. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You earned it for putting up with us for like an hour. We know it's hard. We do it every goddamn day.
Alright.
Yeah. Segueing into our last few points. A book we would read and a book we would avoid at all cost. Scarlett, would you like to go first?
A book I would totally read, Percy Jackson. Just Percy Jackson. Listen, I have not read Heroes of Olympus. I've read parts of Heroes of Olympus, like I know what happens, but I refuse to read the whole series. It's not that I refuse to, I just like as soon as it's spoiled, I'm like, what's the point? But the original Percy Jackson series, would read, would recommend, go for it. Avoid at all costs. Ember in the Ashes. Totally out of left field, did not enjoy that book. It is like the Red Queen for me.
I think, what was it? You tried to suggest it at one point for Sunday Suggests, and you were there like, oh no, I hated it. And so I'm like, why are you giving it to me then?
Because some people could enjoy it.
So that's not the point. The point is Sunday Suggests is what we suggest people read. This is the fun we have to deal with each other. Yeah, as for me, a book I would read. Definitely School for Good and Evil. I definitely need to read the next few books, and I will, definitely. That's a promise to you, Sir Man, if that's your name. Have I said it right? I don't know. He's probably not listening. If he is, hi! Love your work, by the way.
Went into total fangirl mode just instantly.
I don't fangirl, I appreciate from a distance.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah. Avoid at all cost. For now, I'm gonna say Red Queen. There is a book I detest even more. But I will save that for another time.
Do I know this book?
I've shown you snippets of it.
Oh, I don't remember
Yeah.
the name, but I know what you're talking about. Okay.
It-
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
that one.
goodness,
That
that
one needs
one's
its
bad.
entire own rant. That one goes deep.
We're gonna talk about that one next time.
I mean, for February, for the month of love, for the Chinese New Year, I believe this. What's this Chinese New Year?
For the month of love, we're gonna talk about the book that LT absolutely hates.
Yeah, pretty much. She also hates the romance in it, so even better.
I just hate everything. Again, kudos to the writer for achieving that achievement of writing a book, but my god!
A section LT hates on a specific book for a portion of the podcast.
LT rants. But yeah, no, so to end this podcast on a lighter note, Scarlett, what is some inspiring or uplifting knowledge you'd like to share?
I got it. Okay, so we didn't touch on it in our news, but Stephen King wrote a new book, right? It's coming out in 2021, apparently, according to websites. And my word of encouragement is, if Stephen King can write another book, so can you. Thank you, folks. That's all I got.
That was an inspiring quote, quoted by me before we started. Apparently, I inspire Scarlett a lot. But yeah, anyone can write a book. It just takes a hell of a lot of dedication.
Dedication, stubbornness.
Yep. A willingness to completely torture yourself. Anyone can do it.
Does this mean we're masochists?
Huh?
Are we masochists?
We don't go into that. As for me, believe in yourself. Yes? There's only one you in this world. You spent 9 months of training to be the best you can be. No one else can be you. There's only one. So go out there and be you. Because there's only one of you. And if anything, you're rarer than a goddamn diamond. Because there's several of those. There's only one of you.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
She has a point. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I'll drink the tea that I don't have in my mug to that.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I won't get this last drop. It's the last thing I do.
I thought you already got it.
I didn't.
Oh. Well, with all of that said, thank you for joining us for this.
Thank you for having a cuppa with us.
Yeah. Or having, I don't know, a shot with it, whatever you were drinking.
Thank you for having whatever you were having with us.
If you're not entirely intoxicated or knocked out, then why are you still here?
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter if you want to hang out, ask questions, stuff like that.
Yeah,
we have a
we
lot
post
of fun stuff.
Pretty much daily, don't we?
Yeah, we post stuff daily on Facebook and Instagram. Twitter, it's rare, but you will definitely see some.
We just post whatever
gold.
makes us laugh on.
We post some quality quotes from our writing sessions.
Yes. They are beautiful. We do recommend you check it out. It is hilarious. If I do say so myself.
And
we also have an official website. If you're not listening to this on there, it is www.thescarlettea.com. And you can see all of the projects we're working on. You can see more about the book we're working on and the world of Super Secret. You can also listen to the podcast on there.
You can find out the characters, so if we ever bring up random characters in the middle of podcast, you will know who those are.
Yes.
And yeah, we also have editing sessions on the Instagram if you want, on the Instagram and the Facebook, if you want to check those out if you enjoyed listening to our beautiful voices.
Yeah, if you want to hear other snippets of the random chaos we get into. You can go check it out there.
Yeah.
We are also working on several other things coming up. which are currently hush hush.
We don't-
Something that we are going to be working on once the first book is out.
Mhm.
That we are definitely looking forward to.
Oh, it's the only thing keeping me going.
Yeah, and I know that I am working on potentially getting a newsletter up and running. So there's that to look forward to. Keeping
Awesome,
yourself
awesome.
in the loop.
Even
Should
I
be
wasn't in
fun.
the loop.
Yeah, no one was. I come up with this stuff in the middle of nowhere. Often when I'm in the bathroom. So.
But let us say goodbye. Ta-ta. Pip pip
Ta-ta.
cheerio, as they say in Britain.
We really don't.
You love me.
We say, so long, suckers!
And that's the end of the podcast.
Tatty bye!
Bye-bye.